It's weekend edition of the Snarkcast. This is our fourth attempt trying to get this recorded because yesterday we had audio issues, we had internet issues, David having sinus and coughing issues, and I just have issues because I'm old. So for the very first time, we will be covering Friday's episode in the Snarkcast. So let's get to it. Anyway, happy Saturday morning, Snarkies. We are back. We are here and we are ready to give you the scoop on the full week, which we never get to do. So first off, Richard Lansing has appeared once again. He's washed off the stink of being in the basement for 3 weeks or however long he was there. And now he's back. David, what do you think about Rick's new plan to cozy up to Sunny?
Well, of course, I always approach everything from a writer's point of view. So I'm like, okay, obviously the writers are pivoting because we praised Rick's return last year and thought it was a good idea that he was kept apart from Sunny. So now having them go back into each other's orbit, it might be very interesting, especially at this time.
I like this. I don't know what they're doing with Sunny. I don't know if they're trying to soften him and yet no one believes he's softening. I don't really get where they're going, but I'm glad we're going to get this temporary detente, as it were. I'm sure it won't last forever. But Rick's back.
I'll tell you one thing. Anybody who is in trouble with the law, if they don't go to Sunny first for advice, they're crazy because he's actually giving good advice to everyone.
So Rick has come in to defend Rocco, who discovered, interestingly enough, that science is correct and there are no animals involved in cold fusion.
And that took us how many months to figure that out?
Oh my gosh, they've been trying to get into that lab since January? Well, no, actually longer, because they just announced that new Emma, Braden Bruner, she just celebrated her year anniversary. So we've been doing this for a year now, people.
Right. This plot line, or at least the reason for this plot line, was the reintroduction of adult Emma last year. I don't trust the writers, but at times I'm like, they're really finally able to pull certain things off. The way this whole week, and believe me, if we did this on our usual day, we'd be talking about completely different things.
Yeah,
because the end of the week was nothing like the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
But they've managed to sort of like coalesce and sort of make these random plot points now into an umbrella story. And that's what I like. That everyone is somehow involved in this story and there are big stakes for everyone involved.
Right. And because somehow Sidwell is at the core of all this. He's got the whole cold fusion and whatever Dalton's doing and whatever Britt's doing. We don't know yet. And frankly, they don't know either. But we've got Sunny pulled more into Sidwell. We've got ADA Turner. We've got Drew. Everything is kind of spoking around Mr. Sidwell, including our favorite, Miss Ava Jerome.
Yes. I sort of came to a revelation this week about Ava. Her plots, because again, she's been sort of a talk-to character for a while now, and she's always had plots involving men. But when she isn't connected to a man, trying to get a man or have a man involved with her, they don't know what to do with her. And she's gold no matter what she does. She was on twice this week, but both times it was with Jens. Do you think they're maybe heading towards something there?
I absolutely do. And I should tell our people listening that yesterday when we recorded this, David and I talked about Ava with her first Jens encounter in that incredible red lacy outfit that she was wearing. We all gave that several thumbs up. And yet we didn't know yesterday when we tried to record this that she would have a second encounter with Jens. And it was kind of weird them all coming together, because the truth was, so Jens and Marco and Jordan who I always give the wrong name to, all show up there, and it's only Marco who wants something, and then Jordan decides she wants a picture. It was weird. What were they doing there, really? I mean, Jens
Well,
didn't need to be there.
that didn't strike me as odd because Jordan is his right
Yeah,
hand woman,
yeah.
but person, and Marco is the attorney. So it kind of made all sense that they made an appearance, and Jordan, while I'm here. But my gosh, Trina
Man,
going after Jordan.
you keep her in the character closet too long, she gets cranky.
And it's like it came out of nowhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Trina reading her for filth, but it's like there's really no filth.
Yeah, really. It was just
she's misreading her for filth because it's like, oh, honey, you are so informed. And I kind of wish maybe it'll happen Monday because we left that sort of still going on. But I want to see Jordan just go swat.
seriously, it's none of her business. I don't know. Trina, as we've discussed before, this whole story with Curtis and Portia and Jordan and Trina, and we're going to throw Kai in there too because who cares?
Wherever he is.
It's a non-story as far as I'm concerned. They are truly making much ado about nothing. I mean, divorces happen, pregnancies happen.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, everyone knows that we and a lot of the audience adored Sydney Michaela as Trina.
Yes.
And again, she wasn't the first Trina, but she was the
First
Trina the longest. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they really decided to make Trina a permanent character. And again, no offense against her replacement, but the writers just seem lost as to what to do with this version of Trina. And it's a shame because she was a very important character back in the day. But she goes from being like Little Miss Helpless to like sort of over attacking now.
Well,
it doesn't make sense.
The other problem, they painted themselves into a corner by putting Joss, her best friend and only friend, really,
right.
in the WSB, because now they don't interact at all. They're in completely different circles now, even though they're theoretically roommates, I guess. But they have when Trina and Joss were best friends, they acted together to do various things, but it's like Trina is now only in the in her parents' divorce story and maybe a teeny tiny bit in the Drew shooting story because she was there.
We've sort of lost the focus. Are they supposed to still be in school? I thought last year was their senior year.
Oh, really?
And it's not, and it's not clear.
Yeah, I don't know.
Since the fall, is Trina still in school? Did she graduate?
Yeah, we don't know.
We know Joss is still in school because Joss basically took off the whole first half of the year. So she would be at least a semester behind, and her going back to school would make sense, as her cover. But it's like, it's not clear whether they have graduated or not. And I mean, it's not, that's the one area they sort of lag in. It's also not clear. I mean, yes, Emma's supposed to be in school, but it feels like the summer never ended. I don't feel like there was a point where we're like, we're going back to school, other than Wiley and Scout the first day because they went up and did their traditional hug with Monica or whatever.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. And then we have, because the kid group, we don't even see Charlotte and Rocco and Danny going to school either.
No, yeah.
As far as we know, all these things are happening at any time during the day, and no one is doing homework, is what I'm noticing.
Right. Although I do think I've seen Charlotte with books maybe once or twice. It's
whatever.
Hard to fathom. But were you expecting that twist on Friday? Like, who is Dalton really that? I mean, Dalton is the new Drew. If he's setting Rocco up,
we know he's going to be the next body bobber in the pool, so to speak, because the whole thing with Nathan getting involved with Britt and this story, and then now Jens is involved and Britt, it's very complicated. It reminds me of a story we did a couple of years ago. What was that one that started with a P? Pikeman. It
Pikeman.
reminds me of Pikeman. Pikeman
It's just
2025.
it's just meandering away
And it
all
just
over the
sucks
map.
everyone into the vortex as it moves through Port Charles.
It's like it's almost like the Drew attempted murder didn't happen. I'm wondering about that. Like, are they just gonna like eventually forget it?
No, because they're still talking about it. I mean, we
Yeah,
had the
but it's like
whole.
it doesn't go anywhere. And now that Anna has left for an assignment at the WSB, you would think people would be suspicious because she was kicked out of the WSB. But everybody's like, nope, she's just on
You know,
assignment. So we're going to make
the,
Dante the commissioner, which now I see at the beginning of the week. I'm like, why Dante and not Mac? And yes, they did explain, Mac's going off to Boston to visit Maxie, but Mac was also in charge of and we got to mention this week, the Judge Heron case,
well,
also a murder. And now
yes,
Nathan and Chase have taken it over. But
right.
I love when soaps acknowledge a well, and my God, you're going to hear me say General Hospital is a well written soap. But right now it is. It's going to be a tough Snark Award season this year because this has probably been the best year General Hospital has had in, I would easily say, over a decade.
I agree. I agree.
And I love when people acknowledge the ridiculousness of situations. That's good writing. Years ago on One Life to Live, Jessica said about one of her alternate personalities, she acknowledged the fact that, like her mother, she also has alternate personalities. And basically, any character who can address the elephant in the room makes it more real for an audience. Because an audience sees, like, yes, we all know it's ridiculous. I'm glad you see it's ridiculous too. And that's what Nathan and Chase did, acknowledging that they're working on a case that involves his niece and Chase's ex-wife.
Yep.
That's what I like to see, because otherwise it's like, really? Do these people not see these conflicts of interest? And they really did a good job of that too, with the whole Laura mayoral, I'm not acting as the mayor, I'm acting as a grandmother.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm going to plot whisper a few things. I think Laura's going to lose. I think she's going to lose the election. I think Sonny's going to lose the peers or whatever all those things are, Measure C and the mayor.
But it'll probably be
And
temporary.
right. And I think Dalton's going to end up in the drink like Judge Heron. And then they're going to put both of those murders on Sonny. And then we'll be back in the courtroom and we'll have general law and order again instead of General Hospital.
Well, General Hospital, here's a plot whisper. Just solve one of the murders.
Just one. Just one.
That's all we ask.
I know there are 3 and maybe 4 happening or whatever, but just
Yeah.
one.
Murder, attempted murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solve
It's all
something.
good.
Put again, like you did with Erica Slazak. Beginning, middle, end. It's okay to end
Finish.
stories on daytime. They don't all have to go on forever. And given the way daytime has been written for many, many years now, with a lot of quick scenes, everything seemed to go fast. It works for General Hospital. It doesn't always work for other shows. Young and Restless is very notorious for having very long, slow scenes.
Oh, okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, Ryan's Hope used to do that. Ryan's Hope always used to do a lot of stuff with character. So you had a lot of character-oriented scenes. I love those too. But GH works better sort of with this fast-paced, quick scenes. Couple lines, ask a question, cut to the next scene. Couple lines, because there's much more movement on an episode of General Hospital.
We can fill in.
We
joke about the things we don't see in episodes.
Right.
But it's what our brains are able to fill this in. And I was going to make a comment about endings. Starting a story is pretty simple. You get an idea, you just go. In the middle, it can get a little bogged down. But any person who's written a story, whether it's a book or a short story or a play or whatever, will tell you the ending is the hardest thing to write. And think about it. Think about the TV shows we've watched and the ones that had great endings, like Friends. I think Friends' ending was really good. The end of Big Bang Theory was really good. The ending of How I Met Your Mother was horrible.
Right. I remember
Right?
that.
Remember how disappointed it was like, this is where they led us this whole time. And so I want to say that, and especially in a soap where we have continuous ongoing stories, it's not always easy to wrap it up in a nice little bow like we did with Erica's story.
But at the same time, we all know from real life there are natural endings to things.
Sure.
You move away, you
You
get
die.
married, there's always ways to end things and start something else. Plot should come out of character, not you manipulate the character to fit the plot. So you like to see motivations for what happens next. Oh, I'm protecting my kids from my ex-wife because A, B, and C happened. Would Michael of 5 years ago do that? Probably not.
Probably not.
Michael of today does it because he's been burned several times, literally too, as well. But that's what I like to see. Yeah. And it's like, and sometimes General Hospital, one of their biggest faults is not knowing when to end a story, not knowing how to end a story, or just not ending a story. It just
That's usually what happens. We just
goes
kind
away.
of fades to black, as it were.
I want to ask you,
Hmm.
how's the Epiphany going?
I labeled Gio's realization that he's a member of a family and he loves them. And oh my gosh, I might not get to speak with my grandfather again.
My
I labeled
grandpa.
that his Epiphany. I love Gio. I love that character. They have, yes, the Brooklyn Dante baby story took way too long again. But here we are. We're finally seeing the final resolution of that story in
Yes.
Gio softening towards his Q family. And eventually it will leak out to Brooklyn and Dante. And that's wonderful.
Right.
But I love Gio. I love how he wants to step in and save Rocco. I love how he feels responsible that he got these kids in trouble. He's a great character. Whoever has developed him as beautifully, props to you, because
Well,
he's
and I
lovely.
would say that about the entire young generation. They
Yes.
seem to be able to write them more consistently than they do with the adults. Emma owning up to the fact that
That was wonderful.
she's ultimately responsible because that's the whole reason she came to town,
And admitting she was wrong.
and admitting she was wrong.
She was wrong.
Danny
Yeah.
always wanting to, jump in and help his brother, do right, but getting himself into trouble, having to be held back. Rocco taking the fall for everybody. It's
Yeah,
really,
these are good kids.
yeah.
These are, I mean, they're stupid kids, but that's because plot. But they're good kids. I mean, they're not doing nefarious things, right?
I mean, would you call them stupid? Because if you think back to your youth, wouldn't you do something like that? You would be
I wouldn't, because
impetuous, and you would be,
I
spur
was
of the
too
moment.
scared.
But I think they're being written realistically
I do, yeah.
within the context of things. And General Hospital has been praised for probably having one of the best teen scenes, but they always seem to do fairly well. Yes, there's always a few clunkers because, it was only a few years ago that Joss, Trina, Cameron, Oscar, et
Spencer.
al.,
Yeah.
Spencer were the teen scene, and now they've grown into the young adult scene, and now we've got all their replacements, and that's also a case for, although there has been some sore assing here and there, but letting children age naturally on a show. If you're a smart writer, you have all your kids born around the same time, so that as they grow up and you replace
They
them,
have the gang,
they have
the caper
the
kids.
next generation hanging out with each other. Do the anniversaries right, do the memorials right, do the tributes right. Now, again, Monica was the best one, outside of Bobby's and the other ones they've done. I would say Bobby's and Monica's were probably the best we've seen in recent years of
And
tribute.
I understand we'll be doing Robert's and Leslie's as well
Yes.
coming up.
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
recognize both of them.
There's some talk out there about, well, why aren't they honoring actor Chris Robinson, who played Dr. Rick Weber? Well, I think part of that is not because it was so long ago, because of course Leslie was a long time ago as well, although she's been back many times. But they did kill off his character many years ago.
Yeah.
So
So it's not like
we
they
do
can.
know, yeah, we know that Scorpio is out there with his and his daughter and granddaughter, and we know Leslie is out there somewhere married to some Italian person. So it's good to acknowledge their deaths. In the case of Chris Robinson, they could do a screen in memory of. I'd be good with that. Not to take away from his contributions to the show, which were many. That was one of the worst plot lines I think ever on General Hospital when they're evil. Like
I mentioned that on the page. I made a post about Jack Brennan either last week or the week before that it was intimating my plot whisper that they're done with Carly and Jack and they're going to turn Jack evil and we're going to watch this happen in rapid speed. And I likened that to how they did that to Jagger Cates, how they did that to Rick Weber, and there was somebody else that they made instantly evil overnight that was just so bad. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't know if you noticed, but Chris McKenna, the actor, commented on that post. So he follows the page. And
you gotta be careful with these.
I know. And his first comment was, ha ha ha, meaning this is a funny. And then he came back and he wrote, what did he say? Oh, Spidey senses you're drunk, go home. I'm like, oh, so I nailed it, Chris? Jack's going to be evil?
Or hush hush, don't say that because
yeah,
it'll come true. Yeah, we never know who's reading our page.
Who is your character of the week this week?
Well, it's a little unusual because we only saw her twice this week, but as I said earlier in the Snarkcast, I need Ava involved more with things because lately she's been a talk to character, which is fine. I mean, she shines even in those moments, but I picked Ava this week just because I was just so delighted to see her interacting with people again and more than just Nina going, let me fill you in on what's happening and you react. Yeah. So she's my character of the week. What about you?
I think when we recorded yesterday, I said Gio, and I still think he did a great job. But having seen Fridays, I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to say Lucas because I adore Lucas. Is he doing a stupid thing? Heck yeah. Do I love him anyway? You betcha. And that little conversation with him and Carly, where Carly is reading him the riot act in all caps, and he just gets up and goes, peace out. I don't need your whiny advice.
Carly was not on much, but boy, did she try to tear him a new one. Yep. And then gets pissed at Joss for not agreeing with her.
That was awesome.
And of course, we know why Joss did not agree with her.
Well, of course.
But, again, I'm just concerned because I adore Lucas as well. And I adore Marco. And I feel like they have compromised his character because, again, he was Mr. Law and Order, and I don't want to know anything about my dad doing anything bad. And then his mother dies, and he goes crying to his dad and is now evil.
Daddy says, I know what would make you feel better. Come to the dark side.
What's the motivation? I don't get it. It's never been explained. It's sort of been just glossed over. Is he bad? Is he good? Is he just
when push comes to shove, who's he going to choose? His dad or Lucas?
Right. If Windermere goes up in flames, who's he going to save first?
Who's he going to save? Right. That word compromised is a really important word right now because we've got several compromised characters on GH right now.
Yeah.
Portia is compromised and consequently has compromised Isaiah. It's like, I can't invest myself in this relationship because they're both icky people. Ugh. I don't care.
He's ickier because he just went from character talk to smitten kitten. Didn't they say at the beginning of this affair that this is tentative? We don't know. And he's all in.
He is all in.
Like he does with Jordan. And I'm just like, and poor Jordan. I wouldn't say her character is compromised, but they're putting her into a situation where it's like, everybody feels she's compromised.
Well, she's working for Sidwell, so that's sort
Well,
of a
she has no
given.
choice, but
Although we know that she's there to take him down. I mean, that's her initial MO, but we don't know if she's
supposedly,
still
but
there.
now she likes the money. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them going in that direction. I would hope if something was like obviously evil that she witnessed, that she would be good cop and go back to the light side. But hey, I get the lure of money.
We all get the lure of money. Hey,
Right.
David, do you have any soap recommendations for us this week?
Well, I'm going to turn it around on everybody
Oh,
because the holidays are coming. And Mama Snark and I are always looking for new things to read, watch, do. So I'm going to ask our listeners and viewers if they have any soap recommendations for us, whether it's a book or a play, a musical, television, film, because I'm always doling out things for you to do. And of course, some of these are big investments, many seasons of shows. So why don't you give Mama Snark and I some soap suggestions, and we'll pick out some that we like and we'll feature them in future Snarkcasts.
what a great idea.
And speaking of great ideas, did
Yes,
Wicked Stepmother have any great ideas about what's going on in Port Charles this week?
she did. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh boy.
She had quite a bit to say. Well, first of all, I had to text her yesterday. If she doesn't get the link to the Snarkcast on time, she gets a little nervous and she messages me. So I head it off at the pass and I said, we had technical issues. And
Technical
she said,
difficulties.
is it storm related? We had a 20-minute power outage, probably due to our weather. Well, the weather in Hawaii doesn't really affect the way we do the podcast, but I don't know what the
Not how
problem.
technology works, but yeah.
I think the problem yesterday was my IQ most of all. So anyway, she said, and this was Wednesday, so right.
Yeah.
I am so over the evil cripple showing up like a bad penny and threatening everyone and gloating like a goat. Also, Willow suddenly appears out of prison garb, out on bail. That's a fast off-scene work. And so I got to teach her about how we talk about secret invisible episodes, because that's exactly when Willow was released on bail. Thank you, Wicked Stepmother.
But that was okay in that case because you wanted the surprise of her walking in on Michael and Wiley and Jacinda. So some secret invisible episode work is allowed, since the episode before we were teased with the prospect that Alexis was
Yeah, it
going to
worked.
be
It did work. It worked. But
on bail.
what I want for Christmas, no, what I want for Thanksgiving, which is what, 2 weeks away? I want movement on this stupid Drew shooting story. Let's get this going. Let's get into court. Let's do this. Let's exonerate Willow. Whatever we're going to do with Michael, just get it done. And by the way, I think Monday I'm going to post another poll asking who you think shot Drew, because things are shifting a little, I think.
Are you going to have lunch with anybody coming up soon?
I don't know. Maybe. It's a very rainy day here in Southern California, and I'm feeling like kind of cozying up. So you never know what may show up.
And there may be a recap too. We'll see.
And maybe a
I'm feeling better.
recap. Well, we've come to the end of the 4th iteration of this particular podcast, and we're so grateful we made it through. Thank you for watching, for staying tuned this long. As always, please like, subscribe, check us out on all the podcast places, read David's recap on Substack, and sometimes I visit people in Port Charles and write about them there. We're all over the place. Thank you for being here. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and we want to hear about your soap recommendations.
Yes.
So we will see you next week, everyone.
Adios.